Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, Brother Guy. We're back today with a live recap of this weekend's sports, well, particularly combat sports for UFC and One Championship. What a freaking weekend. Arnold Allen making RDR quit on the stool. Marlon Chito Vera goes down to Ayman Zahabi. One Friday fights was super, super explosive. Tons of finishes. And Arsenal's top of the league. Liverpool lost to Manchester United. What more could I ask for? But to have you guys chat in the comments with me while we recap some of these awesome fights. Let's go. I see we already got AD in the chat. What's up? What's up? What's up? Drop a like, share, everybody. Get involved in the comments. It's going to be a fun one. Look off already in the comments. Let's go. First question of the day. Who you got, bro? Superlek or Yuki Yoza? It's a tough one to answer, to be honest with you. Very tough one to answer. Because I don't know. Actually, don't know. I don't know. Can't give you an answer. I think both guys are super, super intense. I think Superlek slightly edges it for me. Slightly edges it for me. But I'll give you a more detailed answer or legitimate answer closer to the time when we do our preview. But right now, if you ask me right now, I'll probably edge it towards Superlek just ever so slightly. Even though I'm going to support Yuki Yoza on the day, but logically, gun to my head right now, I think Superlek's got the upper hand. Yeah, I think he's got the upper hand just ever so slightly. I hope he makes weight. I hope he comes healthy. I hope there's no injuries. And if he comes into that fight healthy and makes the weight, I think he's going to put in a fantastic performance. Adrian says, can't believe my guy RDR got done like that. Yeah, dude, I'll get into it. We will start this recap with the UFC because I'm only going to cover the main event, the main card of the UFC. And then I'll move into One Championships Friday fights because that Friday fights cards was just off the chains. I mean, so many finishes in that card, a couple of debut fighters. I mean, Fergus Smith stole the show. He stole the show, even though we had banger of a main event between Tang Nuang and Tu Ming Ang. I think Fergus Smith definitely stole the headlines for me because of what's his name, Alistair Valdez. Are you mad? Like, what kind of a performance is that? And just considering where they come from, I can understand why they took the headlines. Adrian, what are you saying? Superlek weighing in 78 kgs at the moment. I saw that. Apparently, he walks around at 78 kgs as well. And the fight they're going to be fighting in his bantamweight, he's fighting at 61 kgs. It's a massive weight cut, bro. It's a massive weight cut for Superlek, and that's why I say it's a if he comes in healthy for 173, I think it gives Yuki Yoza a tough fight, very tough fight. But like again, I edge it to him just one notch above. It's not like a large thing where I say Superlek is gonna just dominate Yuki Yoza. I think you'll probably give Yuki Yoza a tough time in like the first round or so, and then I expect Yuki Yoza to come into that fight and make it super competitive. But right now, stylistically, I think Superlek's got that style to actually put Yuki Yoza in a bit of trouble. Yeah, I think so. But let's see. I'm gonna pick Yuki Yoza at the end of the day because that's just the bias in me that's gonna go that way. But logically, I think Superlek has got the exact kind of style and fight style to actually put Yuki Yoza in some problems. But anyway, boys, we'll get to that. So we got 5 people watching in. Thank you for tuning into Fighting with Friends. Like, share, and subscribe. Get involved in the banter. We are gonna recap the fights that took place over the weekend. We'll start with the UFC fight night, which was in Vancouver, Canada, and not gonna lie, it was a fun fight card. I didn't get to watch it live, but I did manage to watch the fight card back the following day. Get the reactions in there, get the recap in there, and dude, it was actually a very good, very cool fight card from the beginning. Couple of shady stuff happening with the refereeing here and there, but tons of finishes, tons of comebacks also, if you will. I thought that was really nice to watch. But let's start at the top of the card because that's obviously the main fight we're going to be talking about, where we saw Brennan Allen pretty much make Reinier De Ridder quit on the stool. Yeah, and largely it's a large portion, a large contributor to that quitting. I would also argue that Robert Reinier De Ridder went a bit too hard in the first round, too aggressive, way too aggressive in my opinion. Because when I watched the fight back with Jedi, my brother, we watched the fight back together, and dude, RDR went hard in that first round, like fucked up hard in that first round, and I almost felt he was a little bit too overzealous with getting into the grappling, a bit too overconfident as well, because you, Allen made him work hard for that first round. Even though you would argue it was a 10-8 round to RDR in the first round, right? Because he took him down early. But couldn't really mount anything. And Allen was doing a phenomenal job at defending it. And also, he defended the grappling so well that he didn't have to spend a lot of energy to do so. What is Adrian saying here? He quit against Mulligan also, so not the first time. Yeah, he did. He definitely quit against Mulligan as well. Arguably in both fights. I know the one fight he got finished pretty badly, but both fights you could see RDR after the first round, he was like, I don't think I want to stay in the ring with these guys. And not to say that he quit in the same fashion, but I will say this: in this fight, it went 4 rounds. It didn't go 2 rounds; just 4 rounds. Allen showed me composure, and I'll say this now. I said it in the preview as well when I said, if Allen can work on that quit button, right? If he can actually just bring a dog-like mentality that he has before, like pre-fights, and keep it during the fight, and doesn't quit, this dude has got some talent, right? Because when you look at the losses that he has had in the UFC so far, it comes from like where fighters made him not necessarily throw in the towel, like physically throw in the towel, but you could see the look in his face of almost like he doesn't really want to be in there anymore, and he kind of just calls it. You know what I mean? He doesn't fight back. He doesn't reverse anything. And then when he fought against when Brennan Allen fought against Marvin Vittori, right? I saw a different Allen in that fight, and not because he just boxed much better than he normally does, but there was a look in his face in that fight where it's like he's actually on a mission now. Like he wants to no longer. He doesn't see himself as this guy that's just outside of the top guys. You know what I mean? He sees himself as the guy that can compete with the top guys. At 29 years old, he certainly should be. You know what I mean? So I think he showed me in that fight there's a different mindset to Brennan Allen. In this fight, more of the same happened, right? When RDR got that 10-8 round, I don't know if they gave the 10-8 round to him, but for me it was a 10-8 round because he had Allen down and controlled him for 5 minutes of that first round. But the big but, he couldn't assert any damage, right? Maybe a couple of elbows here and there, but he didn't hurt Allen. He also didn't get Allen. Allen didn't really have to spend a lot of energy. He did the, 2-on-1 wrist control, pretty much nullify any sort of chokes possibilities. He didn't spend a lot of energy to sort of get RDR off his back. All he was really doing was he was just not allowing RDR to next phase to get to the next position. He just maintained him, held him here, him on my back, reversed a little bit, but nothing was explosive from Allen to get him off me. And he didn't have to spend a lot of energy. He was just making sure that, okay, you can get my back, but if you're not going to choke me, like you're not really going to do anything. And RDR, on the other hand, was spending a lot of energy to maintain Allen in that position, whether it's back control, whether it was side control, whether he was trying to get the hooks in all the time. RDR was spending energy to control Allen in that first round. Adrian says, I thought Allen would get destroyed by anyone in the top 6, but now I'm not so sure. Yeah, agreed. You know who loses out of all of this? It's Fluffy Hernandez, because he smoked Allen twice, by the way. Adrian says, me and Powhatan had RDR as lock for this one. Yeah, dude, I also had RDR as a lock for this one. And that was purely based on momentum, fight style, RDR is former champion. He's on a high. Allen has showed us that he can quit. He showed us in the past that he was getting beaten by guys that weren't even in the top 6 yet. So there was question marks, right? And all of this can be calculated into saying RDR should walk this fight, right? But again, Arnold, Brendan Allen, he's not a bottom feeder fighter. The dude has got the stuff. He's got the techniques. He's got the talent. He's powerful. He's strong. His biggest downfall was that he was always beating himself up before he got to the fights. Whenever it was time to compete against the top tier guys, he would lose in his mind first before he even gets into the ring, and then people are wiping his ass out. People forget that he was a champion outside of the UFC. So I'm just saying that talent-wise, he's got everything in it to be a really top-class, world-class, top 5 fighter in the middleweight division. But he has to first believe it and like believe that he's untouchable. Then he can be an addition to the top guys. It's just that, yeah, he showed us in the past that he loses to his mind very much easily. Adrian, what are you asking? Is this the end of RDR's title ambitions? I don't think so. I honestly don't think it's the end of the title ambitions. It's his first loss in 5 fights in the UFC, 4 victories. I don't think it's a title ambitions are gone. I would argue that he probably gets another top 5. Excuse me, he gets another top 6, top 7 opponent. Probably gets like a Cannonier next, right? I don't know if losing to Arnold Allen can guarantee, um, a step up in opponent. He might even have to reschedule the Anthony Fluffy fight. Like that's where he's at this point. I don't know if he can get anything higher than that right now. Where Arnold Allen is going to get all the benefits from this because he's Arnold Scott. Excuse me, Brendan Allen gets all the benefits from this because he stepped up on 3 weeks' notice. You know what I mean? He took the opportunity and he's like, "Let me get in there." And dude, he took that. He took out a top 5 contender here. So Brendan Allen definitely steps up now in the rankings and can fight his way up. I still think that's Fluffy will beat Allen again. But now, because of how the dynamics is played out or how the fights have been played out, um, RDR has to now, unfortunately, fight down. Fluffy still fights up, and RDR is above Fluffy, so they could reschedule that fight, in my opinion. But RDR can't fight anything higher than that. It's either Fluffy and Hernandez reschedule or it's Jared Cannonier. You know what I mean? But he doesn't get anything else higher than that, in my opinion. Allen can definitely make a call now for a higher caliber opponent. He can maybe ask for Easy. He could even ask for a Whittaker. You know what I mean? He can ask for these kind of opponents now. And I can see in his interviews that he's pretty patient on making a title run. I know he called out Khamzat. I know he called out DDP. But those are all the right things to do after beating the top 5 opponent. Right? Just to call out everyone above you and be like, I'm here now. Give me any one of them. And considering that Imavov beat Caio Baralho, Imavov rightfully deserves to fight against Khamzat Chimaev, and that would leave DDP without an opponent, and he wants to fight as early as January 2026. So then I would say book Brendan Allen and RDR, and DDP January 2026. You give RDR maybe, like I said, a Cannonier or Whittaker. Oh, yeah, no, sorry, he fought Whittaker already. Just get the middleweight here. You could reschedule it with Fluffy. That's what I would do. If I'm the UFC, I reschedule RDR and Fluffy, and then you let the Easy and Strickland run back. Then you let Imavov takes on Khamzat, and then you get DDP. DDP either gets Caio Baralho or he gets Brendan Allen. That's the best thing here out of all of this is that the middleweight has never looked as fantastic in years. Like fantastic. The middleweight is just beautiful to watch of late. What have we got here? Adrian says RDR versus Baralho for me. Yeah. Again, that's nothing wrong with that. Because again, who else, right? RDR can't really go lower than Cannonier if you're being realistic, right? I mean, Cannonier is number 11, Michael William Page is number 10, and then we get Brendan Allen, who's number 8, who's probably number 9, who's probably gonna jump up a few spots now, and then after that would be Whittaker, Caio Baralho, Fluffy. So I like those fights. Any one of those guys is worthy for me. Adrian says Fluffy got to fight someone on the up. I mean, RDR was on the up until that point, Maybe Hernandez versus DDP. I don't know. I think yeah. Maybe Hernandez. Yeah. Fluffy definitely is worthy. I just don't know what the reason was for him pulling out. Because that plays a big significant role as to what the landscape of the division, right? Because uh anyone could have applied for that role, fill in for Fluffy, right? And Allen took it. You know what I mean? Easy could have taken it if he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Easy could have easily jumped in there and said, I'll take on RDR since this guy's top four, but he didn't, and Allen did. So it changes a lot of the dynamics for how they need to match make these fights now. But the division is just absolutely insane. It hasn't been like this since what you call it, since in Silver days. Even though he was dominating the division, there was still a lot of contenders. And then when Easy came into the fray and became a champion, it was just Easy and Whittaker the whole time. Everyone else was like, yeah, okay. Now you look at that top six and you go, holy shit, all these guys can beat each other here. Like all of them can fuck each other up. That's how amazing that top six looks in the middleweight division. Adrian says, I don't think Fluffy gains anything from beating RDR after the loss. Yeah, I hear you. I'm just thinking because RDR before Whittaker didn't really fight anyone in the top tier of that division, right? And they were considering to they put him number 4 after beating Whittaker. So that indicated to me that they were actually willing to fast track RDR faster than what they were fast tracking Allen or Fluffy. So what that means is that RDR does carry a lot of weight into the division. So I think Fluffy does gain something out of it. I think Fluffy is also in a prime position now. I'd like to get a story on as to why he didn't fight this fight, or what meant that he had to pull out. Just because now RDR lost to the guy that Fluffy beat. You know what I mean? And Fluffy's last fight was Allen. It makes it so interesting, and I find it quite interesting also that Allen didn't actually call out Fluffy when he made that call out at the end of his fight. It's like, why didn't you call out the guy who beat you twice? You know what I mean? Who was also ranked above you, who was supposed to be in this fight. Very interesting times for the middleweight division. But let's see. Honestly, I honestly don't really. I'm not too worried about who gets matched up here because, again, it's like a round robin Grand Prix situation. From number 9 of the division, which is from Brendan Allen, Whittaker, Baralio, Fluffy, Easy, RDR, Strickland, Imavov, Drickus, Hamzat. At this stage, whoever matches up with anyone there, it doesn't fucking matter because any of these guys are one fight away from putting their name in the hat for a title fight. So, and they all can beat each other. So I'm pretty sure for the next couple of years, we're not going to get one guy that's going to reign supreme for years to come. I think we're going to see a lot of titles changing in the middleweight division because they all can beat each other. I really do believe so. So yeah, let's see. Thank you for that chat, 80 on that one. Much appreciated, bro. But for now, I think RDR's next opponent is gonna have to be a little bit lower. So he could even get an easy or Kyle Baralio next. And then obviously Allen fights up for sure. He definitely fights up. He could get DDP. He could even get the Strickland. He called out Strickland. Strickland beat him as well. Yeah. Lots of fights that can take place in this division that would definitely sell out. Definitely sell out. I'm telling you now. Middleweight division is super stacked, amongst the best divisions right now in the UFC. But okay, boys, I have to keep it moving because we've got a ton of fights to get through and 2 fight cards as well. So yeah, let's keep it moving. Let me just get my gong going. All right. Oh yes, and for what I forgot to mention about why I thought RDR quit on the stool, again, very aggressive jiu-jitsu, right? I couldn't get anywhere with it. You could see at the end of that first round that RDR pretty much had nothing left. He was gassed out of his fucking mind. He should have strike with Brendan Allen in the beginning. Allen didn't want to strike with him. You could see Allen didn't want to stay in box the whole time. Allen wanted to get to grappling, get in top control. He said it all fight week. What happens when I get on top of him? Can he survive me? So his game plan was pretty much the same thing get top control, but instead of look for submissions, look for KOs, look for ground and pound. I'm stronger than him, that's what he believed, and that's what he went with. So I personally felt like RDR, being a taller fighter, longer reach, should have should have gone and boxed first in the beginning, kickbox with him in the first round, maybe get one takedown or look for a clinch, but don't shoot. So don't show your card so early. He looked like he wanted to be too cocky, too arrogant to go in there. Like, I'm gonna take this dude down and show him that I'm the best that he's ever gonna be fighting against when it comes to grappling. Not realizing that the top tier part of that middleweight division, every one of those guys can grapple except for Easy. All those guys are dominant on the ground. All those guys can submit, can ground and pound, can strike. So I think he should have maybe gone and just boxed with him first, maybe the first 2 rounds, and then round 3, round 4, start to get aggressive with the jiu-jitsu. But he didn't do that. He went in there and I'm gonna say it now, he was a bit too arrogant. It's not an excuse. But Odd was very arrogant, you could see, and it didn't work out, and he had to pay the price for it. So well done to Allen. Because at the end of the day, Brendan Allen didn't really, when he had top control, what he was really doing was he landed some good elbows, some good ground and pound. But I think if RDR wasn't as gassed out, like he actually had the stamina, and the adrenaline dump wasn't so massive, I think he would be able to survive that ground and pound, maybe even reverse some of those positions. But you could see like his mind wasn't even right after that first round. He was just like, I'm done here. Because again, Brendan Allen wasn't, the amount of ground and pound that he did land wasn't like an overwhelming amount of ground and pound where it was bang, bang, bang the whole time. It was like select the number of shots per ground and pound, but damaging shots, but they were like few and far between kind of situations. But anyway, I think RDR, he was the architect of him losing that fight more than what Allen actually did. A great win for him. Co-main event, we saw Kevin Holland losing to Mike Malott. I'm going to be honest here. Again, Mike Malott, I'm not that impressed, guys. Really not that impressed. Kevin Holland, he's wishy-washy. Let's be honest. The guy has been up and down the last 5 years of his career. When he burst onto the scene, he went on massive streaks. But he was also going in different divisions the whole time. Welterweight, middleweight. And then what that resulted into him was not being able to actually sustain or be in a division long enough to become like a proper fighter, or at least like make a run at the division. Adri says Kevin Holland is done. Dead to me, bro. What can you make of this dude? I said to Jedi as well. I said this guy lost. He lost to D-Rod, and for me was the red flag, the big red. Apart from all the jumping of different divisions, losing to D-Rod, I was like, actually, I think this guy's cooked here. I don't know if he's going to get into a win streak again. I just don't see it happening. And then now losing to Mike Malott, or Mallet, whatever people want to say, I'm like, nah, he's out of here. You know what I mean? Because we also have to be quite real. UFC pays Kevin Holland a good amount of money. He's not really like one of those underpaid fighters. He's a very frequent fighter, right? And even if his pay his purse is of like middle tier, lower to middle tier income comparison to the other fighters, he still fights so much that he makes up that cash anyway. You know what I mean? But the result is him losing all the time, and I'm losing to someone that is, I can't even make the top 15, bro. You know what I mean? So I don't know what to make of this performance. And that shot was quite hectic. Kevin Holland tried to come back into it. You could see that even when he came back into the fight, he wasn't really himself. But also before that, what was he really doing to actually hurt Mike Malott? Nothing much. Mike was prepared to go in there with him at every avenue of the fight. Now, Kevin Holland choosing to get back into the fight and not really take the, I can't continue situation, even though he didn't answer the referee once or the doctors once that he can continue. He barely said anything. I think there was a slight nod that he will continue. Mike Malott should have gone and fucked him up. He was a wounded animal. Kevin Holland was a wounded animal. He was there for the taking. And Mike didn't go in there and finish the fight, which I think he should have. Instead, he played a very, very safe game, looking for takedowns. But like, in my opinion, I'm like, Kevin Holland is ruined, bro. You can see he's ruined. And Mike should have put his foot down and actually sort of, gone for the finish, keep the boxing going, make some space, hit the body, get in there and take his lights out. Pardon me, take his lights out. And he didn't do any of that nature. He played a very safe game, and yeah, I'm gonna say it now. It was a ball fest. It was a boring fight. 3 rounds, 50 strikes. Yeah, 3 rounds, 50 strikes. That's all I'm gonna say there. I didn't want to talk about who they should fight next. That's how boring these two guys were. Final verdict: Kevin Holland's contract should be reconsidered by the UFC. Because if I'm the owner of the UFC, I'm like, this guy's costing us a lot of money, and all he's doing is just jumping around two divisions, taking on unranked fighters, and then losing to them. Like, like you know what I mean? He pulls the crowd because he talks a lot of shit, and he knows if he was because of his resume in the past. But like, we're moving forward now, and I don't know. I just don't know if it's worthy to keep a fighter like that on your roster anymore. Maybe give him another chance, but if he loses again, then yeah, he's out of here. Mike Malott at 33 years old still hasn't cracked the welterweight top 15. If you look at the landscape of the welterweight top 15, I don't know if he can even get a number. I don't know if he, maybe because he beat Kevin Holland now. And Holland's got the number 15 spot. He could take that number from him. But like realistically, if I ask any of you that's in the live right now, in the welterweight division, Gabriel Bonfim, Daniel Rodriguez, Jeff Neal, Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington, Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, Joaquin Buckley, Ian Gary, Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards, Shafkat Rachmanov, Sean Brady, Bilal, and JDM. And now you also got Islam Makhachev in there. Do you think at any point does Mike Malott make any of that ranking numbers? From now all the way until he retires, does he make any of those numbers, those ranking spots? Absolutely not, in my opinion. So he's another fighter that's going to forever, until he retires, he's going to be on a Vancouver fight card. It's going to be fight night all the time. You won't get any main events. And that's just what's going to happen here. And that's probably why I don't really want to talk about who he should be fighting next. Because like, what is there? Not worthy. Let's keep going. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. He thinks he should go into jail. Yeah. UFC jail. Let's keep it moving. Another fight that pretty much had quite a number of fans disappointed in Marlon Chito Vera. I'm going to say it now. A lot of guys were disappointed, including myself. I thought this was the fight where Marlon Chito Vera could have actually, reignited himself, going back into the, title contention, but losing to Ayman Zahabi, who's 37 years old, 7-fight win streak, hasn't really gotten that many finishes. It's like, when I was talking about this fight with Jedi over the weekend, I was saying there is one thing about this fight that made me worry about. I picked Marlon in the preview, but I did highlight that Ayman Zahabi can be a big nightmare for him. Big nightmare for Marlon Chito Vera, just purely because of the fight styles, right? Chito Vera takes very long to get going. Right? It takes like maybe 2 or 3 rounds to get warmed up. Ayman Zahabi is a high volume kind of fighter, very well coached, got a fantastic game plan most of the times. Like, one thing about Faraz Zahabi, he's able to really look at his opponents and highlight weaknesses and exploit those weaknesses. And that's why Ayman Zahabi won this fight. I counted 2 rounds to 1. I thought he won the first round. I thought it was a very close contested first round, but I think he landed a little bit more in terms of volume. Not as damaging shots, but like he landed a lot more and he controlled that distance. Second round, he got dominated. I mean, Marlon Chito Vera rocked him pretty badly with a nice jab, and then just walked him down a lot of the times in that second round, and yeah, pretty much won that second round. But then third round was the same thing we saw in the first round. The third round was Zahabi getting back in control, fought fire with fire, and again outlanded Vera in terms of like strikes and significant strikes. He was landing a lot more, and it was a bit of it was an entertaining fight. It was really back and forth between two guys that were prepared to actually, put on a bit of a performance. But this is what you get from Chito Vera. It just takes long to start. It takes and what blows my mind about Chito Vera is that he's such a powerful bantamweight. He hits so fucking hard. He hits so hard, and he's durable. He can take a lot of shots. I've never seen him being KO'd. He's been dropped by Sugar Sean. He got rocked in this fight once or twice. But no one's been able to take his lights out, right? So he's a fucking powerful dude. And all I wish from him sometimes is to get on his bike early. Like when the fight starts, you've got a fantastic gas tank, right? I would love to see Chito Vera start the fights hard. Like first round, you put your foot down and you go hard for 5 minutes, maybe even 3 to 4 minutes. You dominate that first round. And then you can give the fight a second round, maybe, survive like you normally do. You take your time, you keep your guard up, whatever. And then you can go back on the bike round 3, round 4 and start dominating again. But he always takes at least 15 minutes to get started. In a 3-round fight, you can't do that. And that's what he did here again. And he basically gave Zahabi a lot of opportunities to get into the fight, stay in the fight. That's why he lost the fight, in my opinion, by split decision. Great performance. Zahabi goes on a 7-fight win streak now. Chito Vera is on a 3-fight losing streak. So it's like, I don't know what to make of him next. He definitely starts to go down from here. And it makes it a bit difficult to see fights. Now what's going to happen is younger fighters like a Peyton Talbot or who was the other young kid that was Tyler Phillips. They could see this as an opportunity now to be like, Chito Vera is the cash-in kind of fighter. If I beat Chito Vera, I can make a strong argument to jump into the top 10, top 7. You know what I mean? These are what these young guys are starting to think. Chito Vera is only 32 years old. He's fighting like he's fucking 40. It's weird. It's so weird. I don't like it. I don't like what's going on with him. It's a weird thing to look at. Adrian says Chito is done. Same thing every time. I thought it'd be different after a long layoff. So disappointing. Yeah. Disappointing is a very correct word to use here. I think Talbot is fighting. Yeah, he is. I know he is. Yeah, I'm just saying. Why I brought up Talbot is because he's first name in my head when it comes to like young guys. That's come in the next place for the bantamweight division. I actually think Talbot will have a tough time against Triple C. But the point I want to make is fighters like Vinicius Oliveira, David Martinez, like these guys that are young and new to the division, will look at Chito Vera and go, Chito Vera, I can cash in here. I can cash in on this guy. He seems to be looking weird of late. He's fighting strange. He's fighting almost like he's got 10 rounds. Maybe he should go into boxing instead, where you can have 10 to 12 rounds and take his time, and only worry about boxing. But you can't fight MMA like this, where you're giving up too many rounds and then you try to get it back when there's only 1 round left. It's like, that doesn't look good to the organization. Doesn't look to him. Doesn't look good to people like Dana. And then young fighters that are hungry and on win streaks are looking at him going, yo, I know if I beat Chito Vera here, I skip the line. Not to a title shot, but I mean, I can enter the top 7 beating someone like him. And considering again the landscape of the division, there's a lot of guys here that are locked up in fights and opportunities are on the rise here. So yeah, let's see what happens next for him. Ayman Zahabi, would he get next now on a 7-fight win streak? Mario Batista's taking on Umar Nurmagomedov. Right above them would be this Davison Figueiredo, who would Figueiredo beat in his last fight. But no, it was last week. There's Song Yadong, there's Cody Sandhagen, who came off the back of a loss. So like these are all the names that are above. Zahabi's gonna have to get one of them. So they'll probably put him up against someone like a Song Yadong, where he gets the winner of Umar Nurmagomedov and what's his name? And Mario Batista. Oh yes, Montal Jackson, Mike Jackson. yeah. So Zahabi is gonna have to fight up. Obviously, he's on a good win streak. He's probably gonna have to go up there, and probably get like a Song Yadong. Who called that O'Malley recently? I don't remember now. He beat Nicholas Jackson. Jackson's name keeps changing here. No, but for real, I think Zahabi should start being respected now. But I don't know if he can make a title run. That's my thing. He's on a title run at the moment, but I personally believe once he gets up to like the Song Yadongs, the Figueiredos up there, which is probably going to be one of his next opponents, probably Figueiredo. I think he loses those fights, bro. The talent gets a little bit more intense for him once he gets up there, and yeah. I think his next couple of fights is going to really test him. really test him. But look, it was a great fight between him and Figueiredo. I mean, excuse me, between him and Chito Vera. I enjoyed it. It was a good barn burner between top dudes. But okay, let's keep it moving because again, lots of fights to get through. Keep letting me know in the comments what do you guys think. Also, like, share, and subscribe. We're gonna be moving into one championship very soon. We got like 2 more fights to go on this fight, and there's 3 more fights to break down. So let's get straight into it. Manon Ferro, she beat Jasmine Jasudavicius in the women's flyweight division. Manon Ferro reminded everybody why she was largely considered as one of the women that was going to beat Valentina Shevchenko. Look, Shevchenko, this just proves why Shevchenko is such a fucking elite fighter, right? Because Manon Ferro is very good. Big flyweight, powerful striker, fast, very good grappling defense as well. Very well-rounded athlete. And Jasmine Jasudavicius only really has very good grappling and good ground and pound and good submissions. But in terms of boxing, it's competent, but it's not really like you don't have to worry about it. It's not gonna hurt you or put you away. But when she takes you down, it's gonna get a bit scary, right? That's what Jasmine is like. Ooh, she's dangerous there. But I just felt that's where she was gonna come up short. Is that she's going up against somebody that, other than Valentina Shevchenko in this division, she's probably one of the best to watch. Probably one of the best. I know there's Natalia Silva as well, but I can't see anyone else really beating Manon Ferro other than Valentina. And I'm just gonna bring up these rankings for myself, just to remind myself. There's Alexa Grasso, there's Brandfields, but I think Natalia Silva could be a good fight for Manon Ferro. But really, like other than that, she really beats everybody else. Maybe Rose Namajunas, but Rose has not really been the same fighter for a long time now. So Valentina was the only one to really shut her out. So you ask yourself, what else can Jasmine really do in this fight, right? And I just felt that if she wasn't going to take her down, she was going to get beaten. Manon Ferro was sharp. Her boxing was so sharp. I mean, that right check hook, that left straight, it was so, bro, it was like, I didn't even see it the first time. I had to wait for the replay because it was so quick. And I normally have a good eye to see these inside shots where you don't really get to see on camera until you get the replays. Jasmine had no idea what hit her. You could see she had no idea. She just went down. I know she protested the stoppage, but honestly, I don't think she was gonna make it out of the alive. I don't think she was gonna make it out of the fight. Had to keep going. I think Manon would have really put the beat down even worse on her. Could have gotten really nasty. Maybe there would have been like a hard choke or some shit like that. But Manon was locked in and prepared to really like go back for the title. I think Manon believed that she was gonna beat Shevchenko. I think she really believed she was going to beat Shevchenko. And this fight proved that. This fight proved it to me that Manon believes in her mind that she's the one to dethrone the queen. And that's why the performance was the way we saw it. She went in there to really showcase why they shouldn't have any doubt for her. But I think Natalia Silva is a tough cookie. That's going to be a problem for Manon. Because Natalia's hard to really track down. She's accurate. She's precise. She got a high volume. She's got the style that people don't really like, but it works. It works. And if you're not taking her down, she's gonna beat you every time. AD says Manon is beastly. Manon is intense, guys. She proved in this fight. You could see it. It was a statement win for her. Look at Jasmine Davicius. Let's be honest. For the last maybe say 15 to 16 months, people haven't really been talking about Jasmine prior to this year, this last like I said, 12 to 16 months. So she only now has been entering this conversation of, oh, she's like a top 5 contender and she's like this and she's that. But Manon has been there for a while now, and Manon's been taking out a lot of fighters and in a scary fashion. So in this fight, Manon put on a statement by saying, I'm gonna wipe the floor with this woman and prove to you guys why I should be the one to take out Valentina, especially because now Whaley's in the division and she's taking on Valentina. And if Whaley loses, she's still in the division. And then what that means, it means that Natalia Silva, who's number 1, and Manon, who's number 2, goes down rankings because Whaley enters the division now. You know what I mean? So that's why you could see in Manon's eyes in this fight. It was like, I need to win in dominant fashion because Whaley's also here now. So that's I need to put myself into that undeniable question of you have to put me next. But You got Natalia Silva, you got Whaley. So that means it's fresh in upper division for me, and so it's exciting times ahead. The women's flyweight division, but yeah, Manon deserved every bit of flowers for this kind of performance. She wiped out the top 5 contender, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in terms of who Manon should fight next, considering that the Whaley's in the division now and Natalia Silva is still ranked number 1. Who should Manon Fido fight next? Let's keep it moving. Charles Jourdain. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it just because Davy Grant shouldn't be fighting. He's fucking 40 years old. Charles Jourdain went in there and yeah, just did Charles Jourdain stuff there. And here's the best part about it. A lot of people haven't really been considering Charles Jourdain as like a top guy, but when he burst onto the scene, he was doing mad shit, spinning back fists, jumping knees, elbows, just flashy stuff, right? But then he got found out in that division, which was the lightweight division, and people were bigger than him. He was becoming an undersized. He was getting taken down, mauled, TKO'd. He was just being beaten up pretty easily. So moving down to bantamweight, I think was a very good decision for him to do this because he looks phenomenal in this division. Now I will say, okay, he took on a Davy Grant. That's of all the guys, and yes, Davy Grant was on a win streak coming into this fight. But Davy Grant, I've watched him in the Ultimate Fighter. I watched him come into the organization, and he's a talented dude. He's got good experience, but he's never really cracked the rankings. He's never been able to do it. So it's like Charles Jourdain. It was a good sort of introduction to the bantamweight division for me, and he got a chance to showcase what he really has in his arsenal, which is aggression, great striking, fantastic jiu-jitsu. The jumping knees was all over Grant, cracked his fucking forehead open, and he didn't have to. Let's be honest, Charles Jourdain didn't have to go to the guillotine. He didn't have to. Fight was already done, but he went there anyway just to prove that he's got the stuff. And he's like, welcome back into the win column. Excited to see what he looks like in bantamweight because let's be honest, he comes down from lightweight. He's taller than most of the guys in the bantamweight division. He's powerful, he's fast, he's fresh, he's young. I would say give him like a Marcus McGee next, so we can get tested again. Because I don't think he has to fight long in terms of fighting unranked guys. I think he put him in the top 15 as soon as his next fight. And I mean, there's Montal Jackson who just lost to Figgy. There's again Marcus McGee who now is back into the top 15 because of Montal losing to Figgy. I would say give him either Montal Jackson or give him Figgy. Marcus McGee. Then that you put him in the top 15. He's still very young, and I think he's a fun, vibrant kind of fighter to watch. He's fun on the mic. He's a cool guy. I think Charles Jourdain can be marketable. I think he can. I think performance is something to watch. He deserved the performance of the night. And great win. He didn't have to do the sub, but he did anyway. And I'm impressed. I was impressed with him when he even arrived. And I'm impressed with his performance again. So well done to Charles Jourdain. I'm going to keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen, to the next one. So let's go for that. Opening bout of the main card, Carl Nelson, also coming down from the welterweight division into lightweight, taking on Matt Provola. And this was a strange fight. A lot of balls up from the referee, from Dan Mugliata, however you want to say it. And that kind of overshadowed the whole performance, overshadowed the whole fight. If you think about it, I'm not sure if you guys in the chat that have watched it, but basically what happened was, I almost said Gunnar Nelson. Carl Nelson was cracking Matt Provola, like cracking him for the whole of that first round. Both guys were swinging pretty hard, but Carl was cracking him, and then Carl landed a big bomb, dropping Matt Provola, getting on into half guard, and just started mounting some offense on him. Lots of right hands, getting through the guard, and there was a couple of right hands, and this was towards the end of the round, by the way. There was a couple of right hands that got through so well that actually you could see Matt Provola was pretty out. Like there was no more response to it. He wasn't defending himself really well. And there were 3 seconds left on the clock, and Dan Mugliata went in there and actually stopped the fight. And Carl was celebrating. He went over to Matt Provola. Matt Provola didn't even protest this. You could see he was still trying to get his wits about him. And then the referee was like, no, the fight's still on. Carl Nelson looked like he had no more stamina left, and kudos to him to actually stay in the fight. Because then Matt Provola started getting back into the fight and got aggressive in the second round. But then Carl was very defensive sound, He did a good job, but not really taking any damage and landing the big shots. Taking Matt Rivola down in the third, and winning the fight overall by unanimous decision. But he should have won the fight in the first round already. Carl explained it really nicely on the microphone. He spent a lot of energy. He emptied the gas tank in that first round. He thought the fight was done, but then to fight again, the second and third round was about management of his energy. He had to just stay in the fight instead of winning the fight. And I think Dan Mergliata, in my opinion, I saw when they got the commission on microphone and he said that according to the referee, Dan heard the horn, but there was no horn up until when there was a horn. And then that was a mistake on his part. And then according to the referee, the fight should go on. I don't agree with that. I think that the fighter was pretty damaged. You stopped the fight. You should go back into what you said, because everyone else around you, except for you, had said that the horn didn't go. So the fight should then be done. Instead, they made the fight continue, and they made for a bit of just a very strange fight to watch. But Carl Nelson did a very good job in still winning the fight regardless. And Matt Rivola, back-to-back losing. I don't know what's losing streak right now, but he's losing a lot of fights. And question needs to be asked again of what next for fighters like this? You know what I mean? Because Matt Rivola's on a losing streak. Some fighters have been terminated whilst being on winning streaks. So I don't know if I want to keep watching a Matt Rivola fight if he's gonna keep getting beaten up like this. And for Carl Nelson, good addition to the lightweight division, but I won't really put too much stock into seeing him climb those rankings. I just don't know if he can do it. But let's see. He put on a wild fight. It was entertaining for as much as it lasted, and wishing him all the best in his future. But I can't really think of who he should be fighting next, because the lightweight division is very competitive, and I just don't see Carl Nelson really. I mean, Mauricio Rufi is ranked number 15. I think he beats Carl Nelson. Grant Dawson also beats Carl Nelson. BSD, Chandler, Moicano, Fizzy. I don't know if Carl Nelson enters that and actually becomes a bit of a problem for the division. I think he just keeps fighting unranked guys. That's just what's going to happen there. But give me your thoughts. Rest of the fight card was okay. Al Propelik fought against Drew Dober. That was a bit of a slugfest, fun fight to watch. Drew Dober was 1-1 going into that third round. He also cracked his shin. But then when they got into the third round, his coaches told him, "You need to go in there and get a finish," and he did exactly that. And big ups to Drew Dober. I did say in the preview that that's a fight to watch, and it was they've lived up to the hype for sure. Cody Gibson needs to be moved out to the UFC. Back to back losses now against a bunch of nobodies. I can't even pronounce this Chinese guy's name. And I'm usually good at pronouncing Asian names, but this is a bit of a tricky one for me. But he went in there and cracked Gibson hard with the right hand, dropped him, and the fight was basically over from there. What else can you really say? Bruno Silva versus Yusung Park. That was a fun fight, back and forth from both guys. Yusung Park got aggressive, but then got subbed out from Bruno Silva, who is Triple C's main training partner, by the way. Great fight. Great fight. It just shows you how competitive the flyweight division really is. So well done to Bruno Silva there. You don't know who he can put next, but he's a ranked opponent. He's a ranked fighter, so he could be looking at I don't know, maybe a Steve Usyk fight. Who did he lose to last? He lost to someone in his last fight. Bruno Silva. Oh, Joshua Van. But Van's fighting for the title now, so he's gonna have to make his way up into that list. Danny Barlow and Jordan Santos, fucking barn burner again. I'm surprised neither of these guys got KO'd in this fight, because they were cracking each other with big shots. But Danny Barlow got tired after round one, and Jordan Santos just started getting stronger and stronger as the fight went on, and deserved the win there. I can't remember how the submission went for Stephanie Luciano, but she looks good, very strong, and looks good for the strawweight division. Azamat Bakoyev got beaten up by Yusri Balgarawi. Yusri fought a very good fight. He's tall middleweight, but good takedown defense. And he's also a very good kickboxer. He beat Alex Pereira, actually. So when they used to kickbox. He's a fun guy. Need to see what he looks like in the middleweight division. I don't know if he's going to make it any further, but need to see what he looks like. And then Melissa Crowden beat Tainara Lesboa by third round TKO. Good fight. Melissa's a big bantamweight for that bantamweight division, but I still don't make anything of it especially because Kelly Harrison is gonna be a good champion. And also we got the return of the lioness Amanda Nunes, and if she comes back, I think she beats every of this woman in the bantamweight division every day of the week. So yeah, I won't put too much stock in that one as well. But anyway, good fight card, guys. Really good fight card. I really enjoyed it. I thought Arnold, excuse me, Brennan Allen definitely did a very good job. Manan Fedor did a very good job. So yeah, let's see what happens next for the UFC. But for now, I'm gonna keep it moving to our next. This is what you guys are all coming for. Is for the one championship, right? So let's do it. This is what everyone was tuning into. I even saw that Fergus Smith liked and shared our content on his story today. So I'm sure people are tuning in for the one championship. So let's get into it. One Friday fights, 1 to 9 took place 17th of October, which was last Friday, and what a fight card! What a fight card! Let's get straight into it, guys. From the top of the card, where we saw Tang Nuang beating Tu Ming Ang by unanimous decision. What a fight! What a fight! Back and forth between two beasts. 165 pounds. So I just want to get this thing on the screen properly. There we go. Yeah, back and forth. I enjoyed this fight. It was a high level, pacey fight. Tu Ming An at 19 years old fights like a fucking champion beast. I will highlight some of the stuff I felt that he did a bit wrong in this fight, and that's probably why he lost the fight. Tu Ming An, Tang Nuang fought like a legend that he is. Game plan was on point, strategy was on point, execution was even better. And what he did really well in this fight was he managed the distance over 2 rounds really well. You know, by attacking the leg, attacking the body with that left kick, which is masterful of his. He would go high with it, he would go to the body with it, then he would follow up with good strikes after those high kicks. And Tu Ming Ang didn't have any defense for this. He was taking all these shots. And I hope he learns from this. I hope Tu Ming Ang learns from this, because what I notice, like we all know this about the Myanmar guys, they are so durable, right? That it takes a whole truck and a bus to drive over them to actually knock them out. And if you're not gonna do that, they're gonna be in the fight every round, and they hit fucking hard, and they're gonna come at you, and you're gonna get tired, and they're gonna come at you, right? And sometimes, for me, I'm sure a lot of guys who watch One Championship can also agree that that's not gonna be the way to win the titles, right? The Myanmar guys are gonna have to get a little bit better at their striking, not just rely on tanking shots and then knowing that the opponent's gonna get tired in later rounds and you can actually go at them. I think if you think about fighters like Super Ye Chan, what's the Toylan Tet, who've got technique and they utilize technique, they utilize game, different types of striking techniques, not rely on taking the shots and then waiting for the later rounds. They go at you from the first round already. There's things to be learned here. Tang Nuang was able to navigate. I've got it here. The body kicks and the elbows were on point for the first 2 rounds, right? He had Tu Ming Ang backed up, which was really good. The front foot was fantastic. The pressure was absolutely amazing, and he was able to navigate the aggression from Tu Ming Ang, right? The third round is where things change. Tu Ming Ang started getting hyper aggressive. And what he does is he was kind of walking Tang Nuang until they got to the ropes, and when they got to the ropes, he will just start offloading, like a whole bunch of punches, swinging. And this is where I want to call him out, though, because in those moments where he was just landing, he was just throwing all these shots going forward. He wasn't changing it up. It was just like a robot. You just tapping left, right, and never dipping his head off the center line, never changing the arsenal. In terms of, like, if he goes left, right, he doesn't go on those left, rights. He doesn't go like, okay, I'm gonna uppercut and I'm gonna cut and I'm gonna go over and right and I'm gonna come back, body, head. None of that shit. Just head. And he made it wild. Just wild exchanges the whole time, right? And Tang Nuang was able to fucking see it. He was seeing it. He was getting tired and he was taking a lot of those shots, but he was able to stay there and roll a lot of it and then land counter elbows, up elbow, and he was cutting up to Ming Ang the whole time. The whole time. And I'm like, so that's where I want to call out fighters from Myanmar that fight like Tuming Ang or Harling Omo on this fight card or Sulan U, where they're just like, they hit the gloves and they go, and they put the elbow out and they tap it and they walk forward and like, you're Tanzanian. And I'm like, yeah, it looks fun, but you're losing the fight. You're getting out tagged the whole time. You got to do something different about this. You got to. Tuming Ang didn't throw one fucking kick the whole fight. I'm like, can you at least throw a high kick in that combination because you're able to do the right thing in terms of walking Teng Nguyen down. You can eliminate the distance so he can't body kick you anymore. You're doing all those things really well. Then when you get into the pocket, you just like and go like you're fighting in the schoolyard. And then guys that are high level in terms of technique are always going to get around that. They're always going to find a way to get around that, right? Because they're going to be able to be composed, right? They keep their guards up. They cut angles. I mean, Teng Nguyen, as much as he was getting backed up in the third round, he was countering that boxing with lots of elbows. He was doing it cleanly. And that's why he won the fight, in my opinion. Yes, he may have lost the third round, but at that point, the body of work was already done in the first two rounds, like cleanly. Like Teng Nguyen was putting a beating on him for the first two rounds. So, yeah, as much as I was impressed for Tung Ming Ang to come back into the fight in the third round, I'm also not that impressed in terms of the style. He's a dog. He's aggressive. He's strong. He's big for 165. He's got the power. But I want to see him have a little bit more of a better technique in those shots. I want to see him sometimes when he got fighters backed up in the corner, like the way he had Teng Nguyen backed up. Teng Nguyen wasn't able to get out of the corner, by the way. When you have him there, sometimes you can be a little bit like when you're going through all those wild, when you're unloading your gas tank. Sometimes you can take a step back and they pop out some jabs to fish for the elbow counters, and then you come back with the counter, or you take a step back, pull out the elbow counter, boom, high kick. Just like let's see some variety and growth in your combinations when you're going forward. Because I think Tu Ming Ang can be a superstar for the 165-pound division when it comes to Muay Thai. I think when it comes to that lightweight to almost welterweight Muay Thai, I think Tu Ming Ang can be something to watch out for. But he's going to really have to increase his level of weaponry, game planning. Because that walking down and go the whole time, he's going to get found out for some fighters that are high level. Teng Nguyen is high level. And he's really, think about, for example, the guy who knocked out Teng Nguyen in his last fight, Martin Bachtin. Right? He's young. But Martin's going to spin on you. He's going to throw different types of high kicks, different types of tips, different variations of weapons, right? And Tu Ming Ang, that likes to walk down with his head up in the open like this, will get caught against fighters like that. He will get dropped against fighters like that. Fucking Regan Ursel will jump in, knee him into a different stratosphere. So he's going to have to really level up not only his defense, but he's also his weaponry when he goes forward. Because you can't just keep doing that. But it made for a very fun main event to watch regardless. So I will give that. In terms of who they should be fighting next, I'm not so sure. I think Teng Nguyen definitely gets a boost in terms of going up. And in terms of who we could be fighting next, if I look at the lightweight Muay Thai rankings right now, which is I think the 170-pound division. No, I lie. The lightweight division in Muay Thai is the 170. Yeah, they are 170. I'm looking at the rankings, right, or the unofficial rankings from Tetsuya's account on X right now. Teng Nguyen is number 9. I would say I see Mustafa Al-Takriti is there, but his leg broke last year. So I don't know if he could get the fight anytime soon. He could have a run back with Maxim Bachtin. I know Sun Samiklan Me is there, but he could be getting someone else soon. Yusuf Asawik maybe. But he's gonna have to have another fight. He's gonna have to have another fight first before Denis Bumatov. Maybe, I don't know, but he's gonna have to have another fight first before he can start cracking the top 5. Because Maxim is number 5 and he like flatlined Teng Nguyen in his last fight. So I don't know. Let's see. But we'll keep it moving. Tuming Ang, he really has to grow a little bit more, but he's still very young. He's still very, very young. But let's keep it moving to the co-main event. Okay, so Pet Lampoon versus Ayad Al Badr, and this was a first round KO from Ayad Al Badr. This is where DSP V27, one of our main guys in our comments, did say Ayad Al Badr was going to get the job done. Yeah, I said Pet Lampoon because I think Pet Lampoon's a very good sniper like kind of fighter, right? He's elusive and he picks his shots really well and he's creative in that way. Does take his time though, but when he does get overwhelmed with barrage strikes, he gets beaten. And Al Badr did exactly that. He used his range, he used his speed, fast boxing. He put Pet Lampoon on the back foot from the first moment of the fight. Aggressive boxing. He was swinging for it. And I like how he got his KO because he did like a fake left straight. So there's like he stood there and he fake left. As he faked it, he was really recoiling his right leg, and then he swung. And at that point, Pet Lampoon was almost bringing his hands down. I don't know why, but he was bringing his hands down to almost like block the left. He bit for that feint from Ayad. And at that point, the hands was already down. Right leg comes up, finishes the fight. Beautiful. Right high kick KO. Deserves it. Deserves everyone put to that finish. I think he got the bonus as well. I think he wants to fight for a contract next, and I think if he keeps fighting like this, he's now on a 3-fight win streak. I think he can definitely get that contract if he goes up higher. Because Pet Lampoon doesn't have the contract, but Pet Lampoon has been fighting so consistently in One Championship Friday Fights cards. He could have gotten a contract a long time ago. Pet Lampoon was on a 6-fight win streak before going into the win one, lose one situation. But he was smoking everybody, right? He could have also gotten a contract already, but didn't. Ayad Al Badr only has, I think, 5 fights in the One Championship right now, right? 3 wins, 2 losses. And they're talking about contracts and he's getting bonuses. So if that's the case, beating Pet Lampoon puts him very much that closer to a contracted fight. This is 126 pounds division, so that is strawweight. Let's look at the strawweight Muay Thai rankings. Prajan Chai, Alif, Sam A, Ramadan on Dash, Chat Payak, Bob Boza, Abdallah on Dash, Compet, Kong Chai, Toilen Ted, Al Jamari. So who of those fighters should Ayad Al Badr fight next for a contract? Because a lot of those fighters there are not contracted. You know, Prajan Chai is contracted. I think Sam A is contracted. Both Dash brothers aren't contracted yet. Compet's not contracted. Boza, I think, is contracted. Sam A is contracted. Kong Chai doesn't have a contract. Tet doesn't have a contract. Al-Jawai doesn't have a contract. So I think any one of those fights there should be a contracted fight. If I think about, I give a pick for who Al Badr should fight next. Maybe Kong Chai. That would be a good fight for him. Tet, even that will be a very good fight to watch, and I think it's deserved for any one of those opponents. And personally speaking, I do believe that any one of those top 10 should be his next fight. It should not be a fighter that's outside of that list, because I think it's a waste of opponent for him. I think you should put him up against one of those guys. I think Kong Chai, Tet for me should be his next opponent. For Pet Lampoon, he's gonna have to go back to the drawing board and refigure out his configurations here, what to do next to get back into that win column, because I think his next opponent is probably gonna be a tough one again. But for now, we will keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go. Up next, we had Lam Singh beating Kasan Solimov by unanimous decision. No, excuse me, split decision. And this was a fun fight again. I noticed that the Solimov brothers they're widely not loved by the Thai fans or the Thai fighters. Not Thai fighters, but the fighters who support One Championship, or fans who support One Championship, excuse me. Speak of they don't like the way Kasan, or at least the Solimov brothers, are disrespecting the brand because of this like cockiness. I'm not sure if you guys watched the fight, but when the fight started, Solimov basically ran up to Lam Singh, got in his face, like turned it into like a bit of a I'm gonna fuck you up kind of thing. And I don't know if there was beef. I don't know what happened, but it looked like there was beef. And he got beaten. Lam Singh beat him. Lamsing fought a very good fight in the first round. I'll give him that. He got aggressive in the first round. He timed Kassan's aggression because Kassan was like starting fast, like he always does. Putting out the push kicks, all the spins and shit like that, just being super, super wild and aggressive. And Lamsing timed it. He timed the entry, threw an overhand right, fought him nice and clean, dropped Kassan, and then won that first round by 10-8 because of that knockdown, right? But then in round 2 and round 3, yeah, Lamsing was getting beaten up, guys. I'm surprised Lamsing didn't go down. He did a very good job of not getting knocked down, because if he did get knocked down, he probably would have lost the fight because he was getting whooped. First round, second round, Salimov was on him, rocking him with all sorts of shots, spins, jumping knees, low kicks, elbows, fucking fast punches, axe kicks, all sorts of shit. And it was landing the whole time. Just very elusive. Round 3, more of the same. Exactly the same stuff was happening. Hassan was getting on his bike, getting on his bike because he knew he needed to get knocked down. And again, big ups to Lamsing for not going down, because again, if he took a knee at any point, which he was close to, by the way, he probably would have lost the fight. He didn't. And he won the fight. And yeah, top notch for staying in there. But yeah, I think this is the thing I was talking about on the live stream was, and even DSPV said it himself in the live chat, that you can get a 10-8 for dominating the guy for the whole round, right? But we don't see it enough. We don't see it, especially when it comes to kickboxing and Muay Thai. We don't see it. We definitely see 10-8s given in MMA, or someone outstriking or out-grappling an opponent for 5 minutes. Get 10-8s every time for that. But we don't see enough 10-8s in stand-up fighting, other than getting a knockdown. I think that needs to be reevaluated. It needs to be reinstated, because I would argue that the beatdown that Lamsing took in round 2 and 3 were as good as 10-8s. Honestly, it was. Lamsing had nothing in round 2 and 3. He couldn't go forward. He couldn't land anything. His face was fucked up, swollen. A dude was taking a beatdown. Like it was a complete shutout round 2 and round 3. But he won the fight because he got that knockdown in the first round. And yes, he deserved it, right? And if it goes on to points, if Kassan wins round 2 and round 3, 10-9, 10-9, it goes to a draw. But then the draw has to be decided by what? By the knockdown, which Lamsing got. But surely we have to consider a 10-8 for the amount of punishment that Lamsing took 2 rounds. And I want to talk about this frequently. I know I'm waffling on here, but it needs to be a conversation amongst the fans here, because so many times we've seen people getting upset in the fan groups of One Championship, in their lives, social media. People are getting upset of like, how is this gonna? At what point are we gonna consider that kind of beatdowns a 10-8? You have to make it fair. At some point, we have to make it fair here, because Lamsing didn't do anything. He was unsuccessful going forward. He was unsuccessful landing anything in the second and third round. He was basically in survival mode the whole time, trying to stay on his feet so he doesn't go down. All he was thinking was, don't go down, and I'm gonna win the fight. And that's what he did. But at some point, we really have to bring in this rule of, you can definitely get a 10-8 round by dominating an opponent. Even if you don't get the knockdown, you have to consider it. The Kassan, in my opinion, even though I wanted Lamsing to win because he was on our parlay, I'm gonna call it out for what it is. I think Kassan should have won this fight. I really do think so. I think he was by far the better fighter over the course of 3 rounds, and significantly won the last 2 rounds. Significantly. He should have gotten that 10-8, but he didn't. But anyway, that's what we get there. Lamsing back in the win column. Pull him off. His undisputed streak is now broken. So let's see what the One Championship does with him next. Neither guy really warrants bigger fights right now. I mean, Lamsing lost to Dian Kai before this, who's also a not unranked and unconducted fighter. So he also has to now get a couple of win streaks first before we can consider him going up the rankings. Solomov, his first loss. I'm sure he'll be back. He's only 19 years old. He's gonna be a good watch going forward. But for now, we will keep it moving to the next fight, ladies and gentlemen. This was a good fight as well. Brazil, I should put him on the parlay, and I was thinking about it the whole time. But anyway, we saw a good fight here. Brazil beating Sofian Majdubi by second round TKO. Going through my notes here, it was a fun fight. The aggression from Sofian was high. Like he was super aggressive from the first round. Big and strong, looking to dominate with that size on Brazil. And he was doing that. He was aggressive, right? He didn't really throw anything else other than boxing combinations. He didn't tip, he didn't low kick, he didn't high kick, he didn't knee. He was just walking down, right hand, left, right hand, left, right hand, right hand, just boxing, boxing, boxing. And although he was super aggressive in all those moments, he was getting tagged from Brazil. Brazil was on the back foot, but Brazil was keeping his guard up, would throw out the jab whenever Sufyan comes forward. And when Sufyan would sit down on his mouthpiece and throw a right hand, Brazil would do what? Up elbow, tomahawk elbow, counter right elbow, and it was landing. It was landing on Sufyan. Sufyan was still walking forward, but he got cut, started to bleed. Then there was a moment in the first round, a slight moment where Brazil was against the ropes. Sufyan came forward hard. Brazil threw like an oblique. He push kicked, but he push kicked the obliques of Sufyan. And that threw Sufyan off balance, and he landed weirdly. I saw it in the first round. I remember in the live stream I said something's wrong with his leg because it kicked him there, and he went backwards, but he didn't step back well, and you could see he was like, oh, kind of like looked like he was wobbling, and I was like, whoa, 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 something happened here. Something looks off. And then they went forward. He went forward to be aggressive again, and Brazil kept cracking him again with those elbows. Round ends, and Sofian looks like he's taking a breath, but he looks like he's struggling with that right leg of his. Um, Brazil looking fresh, taking deep breaths, looking a little bit composed. Going to the second round, and more of the same happens, right? More of the same happens. Sofian comes forward, and he's like getting aggressive again, but Brazil's again privy to what's going on here, and he's keeping his guard up really well. Sofian comes in hard. Brazil steps up to his right, throws a counter right hand, cracks Sofian hard, cracks him really hard. Sofian goes down, but he goes down because he also can't step on his right knee, and it counts as a knockdown. Because, like, to be quite frank, the right hand did crack him really hard, and he goes down. He gets back up, tries to protest the knockdown, but he also can't stand on his right foot. You can see he can't stand. He tries to put pressure on it again. Referee notices that he can't stand, and calls the fight, and he goes down into his leg, and he kind of like just doesn't get up from there. Brazil wins the fight via TKO, deservedly so, by the way, because I also felt that if he didn't hurt his leg and the fight had to continue, I think Brazil would have beaten him because Brazil found the timing and he found the range. And also, I'm going to say it right now, Sofian didn't do anything different to make Brazil think about something else other than the right hand boxing. That was it. Sofian just went in there and he just threw out right hands. He didn't even double jab right hand or left hook to the body right hand or deep left hook right. None of that was happening. He was just throwing right hand, and another jab here and there, and right hand. Just aggressive boxing. And he abandoned his defense because when he would throw the right hand, he will drop his left hand. And Brazil was able to see this. He was countering the whole time. He was locked in, and he was countering all these shots the whole time. So I think Brazil was going to get him regardless of the fucking knee anyway. Majdubi was trying to just be the aggressor here as the bigger fighter. He thought, I can go in there and just bully him. I'm bigger, I'm taller, I'm strong, I'm faster. But Brazil was just wise to all of his moves and was able to counter him the whole time and deserved the win, in my opinion. I think he would have won even if Sofian's knee wasn't cooked. Yeah, I think he still would have beaten him anyway. Great win for Brazil. Talented young fighter. Again, I don't know if he's close to a contract kind of fight, but I do think he's worthy of fighting higher names. Look at he's a division that is stacked. Let's be honest, the flyweight Muay Thai division is very, very frightening. And if I look at the flyweight Muay Thai rankings, that's atomweight, that's strawweight, flyweight Muay Thai rankings. I don't know. I don't know if he cracks it. I don't know. Asadullah Aman Ghazaliev, Akif Kulazada, Shimon Yoshinari, Aslamjan Otikov, Nakrob, Jacob Smith, Chao Suyai, Kong Torani, Nong O, Superleg Rotang, Tanzin, I just don't know if he cracks. That could be a good fight for him, actually. There's Tanzin could be a very good fight. Suryanlek, who beat Suryanlek in his last fight? Can't get to it now, but like, there's just so many fighters for this division right now. I just think that Brazil's gonna take a hard time to get there. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here. But a good win for him and getting back into the win column. And he must be patient. I think he's like 19, 20 years old. He must be patient. He will get there. He'll definitely get there. But for now, I'll keep it moving to the next fight. So let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, we had Samin Chai take on Taman Thai, 122 pounds Muay Thai. So we know that's the strawweight division. I thought that Samin Chai in this fight was a bit too cocky, a bit too arrogant, to be quite honest with you. Very much showboating a lot in this fight. Hands down, looking to be sneaky with his feints and his high kicks. And look, it worked in the first round. I'll give him that. Looking at my notes here, he had very much sharp feints and high kicks. Elbows was really good in the first round. Tamantai had good pressure, but he wasn't able to really land significant stuff, right? Samin Chai was able to land significantly round 2 and round 3, but he was getting tired as the fight was going on, and you could also see that the antics weren't working anymore. The fun, crafty stuff wasn't working anymore because Tamantai was able to really like get in on the range and land some good shots. For the most part, Samin Chai was doing okay to stay away from it. Like whenever what Tamantai did really well was Tamantai was able to put on good pressure and back up Samin Chai for 3 rounds, right? Staying close, making fight off the back foot, but he wasn't able to really land the big stuff. He asserted very good dominance in the second round with his boxing, but it wasn't able to really like rock or put Samin Chai down, which is what he needed in the fight because he was down 2 rounds. Coming into the third round, he did what he needed to do, which is more of the same. Walk Samin Chai down, attack him aggressively. But Samin Chai was able to last out the fight and win the fight via split decision. I thought that Samin Chai, what I didn't like about what he was doing in this fight was the antiques. The antiques, playing into the crowd and showboating. And to be quite honest with you, that won't work going forward. It won't work in this division going forward. Fighters are too intense. They're too the Barboza, Leaf, all these guys. They're just way too intense. They won't fall for stuff like that. You know what I mean? They were able to walk him down very easily and put the beat down on him. So as much as I thought he was going to win, which he did, as much as I liked some of the counter shots he was throwing, I do believe that more higher level fighters will get him. They will definitely get him. I mean, if I think about it, right? What was that strawweight? If you think about the strawweight division, fighters like the Ondash brothers, Sam A, Elias Barboza, like those kind of guys, I think they would take him out every day of the week if he keeps fighting like that. But I guess that's his style, right? It's the fancy, fun footwork, feints, and then high kicks. Like, I think that's his style. But I don't like how easily you can walk him down. You know what I mean? Tamantai could walk him down without even worrying about it. Like Samin Chai was willing to give up the back foot. He was willing to concede going forward because of the antics, because of the feints and the high kick chaos that he can get going backwards. I just don't know if that's going to carry himself into the top tier of the division. I think the higher guys will finish him. I really do think so. Give me your thoughts. I'm going to keep it moving. Try to keep it on this. Okay, Pechakrit. He took on Yudan Nuchai in the 120 pounds Muay Thai division. Again, this is strawweight, just above strawweight. Just above the atomweight, but definitely strawweight division. Pechakrit, fancy. This dude is fucking fancy, powerful, good young fighter. Very very good for the organization. 3 fights, 3 KOs. Dude, he's good. He is very good. He's elusive. He locks into fights. He knows how to pick his shots. Good pressure. Just a very high level young fighter, and I'm impressed with what I'm seeing so far. I did think that he was going to beat Udanachai anyway. So I couldn't really think about what Udanachai was going to be able to do to beat him. Because Udanachai only has one weapon. That's an overhand right. He's got a good switch body kick, but I mean his go-to finishing moves are the right hands. Right, he will switch body kick, he'll switch low kick, and he'll throw a jab right hand, and that's like what he loves to do. But Pichakrit is faster. His distance management is phenomenal to watch, and his timing because he cracked Udanachai with 3 right hands, and all of it knocked him down. So he was just smart to it. Wasn't lucky punches. First round TKO. I mean, the first right hand was very early in the round. So, and also Udanachai got up right before the third knockdown. He got up and he cracked Pichakrit with the right hand, but it didn't even do anything to him. Didn't even tickle him. So I thought Pichakrit fought a good fight, deserved the bonus. Again, 3 fights, 3 KOs. He's one to watch. He's definitely one to watch. And I think he's worthy of fighting against top 10 guys when it comes to the strawweight division. I think right now his next opponent could be someone like Ahmedi Al-Jamari. Or he could get a Kong Chai. He could get a Compet next. I think Compet might even have a fight. But I mean, Pichakrit, if he goes into another fight with another KO, I think the one champion's going to say, okay, cool, let's give him Al-Jamari. Either not Zachariah Al-Jamari because he's a weight above, but I think Ahmedi Al-Jamari, who's in this weight class of strawweight division, could be a good fight for Pichakrit. And I think both guys could actually use that opportunity to almost springboard themselves a bit higher. So to be an even fight, I think it will be an even fight. But for now, Pichakrit deserved the win. I can't really break down anything else because the fight didn't really go that long and it was a one-sided fight. So I'll just say well done to Pichakrit. Getting a bonus, recently married. And yeah, he's just a fun character. He's a fun guy to watch. Highly talented. So I'll keep it moving for now. Speaking about young athletes and young vibrant fighters, Fergus Smith made his debut out of the Bad Company gym. Vibrant, young, one road to one. I think if I'm not mistaken, his dad owns the gym along with the hitman Liam Harrison. And yeah, I'm gonna say it now. Fergus is one to watch for the atomweight division, along with Sandro Bossi. That division is low-key becoming one of the toughest divisions to watch. Honestly, I think people need to watch out for that. If I think about the atomweight Muay Thai division, right? Nabeka Yoshinari is fighting against Noom Surin at 173 for the title. Song Chanwei is fighting this week on a Friday Fights card. Yodnum Chai, I don't know where he is. He's undefeated in the organization in 5 fights. Why is he so quiet? He is high level. I don't know why we haven't seen him fight enough. Rak Erwan, tough dude to fight against. Banu Lok, Coco. Tim Tong is also there. Riftin Matsur also won his last fight. And obviously, Pech Nuang, one of the Pech brothers, was also there as well. I think that's Isaac Muhammad, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, that's Nayan. That's Nayan. Excuse me. Now you add Sandro Bossi in there. You add Fergus Smith. You know what I mean? You add these guys in there. This division is looking scary. And Fergus is powerful. I like what I saw. I was very impressed by the style. I was very impressed by the arrogance and the composure in the fight as well. He's good on the mic at the same time. Fun fighter to watch. I'm looking forward to it. His boxing looks strong. His aggression looks phenomenal. He's got good defense as well. But I think the biggest thing that I liked what I saw was his composure. I mean, Jonas Anand, another addition. Guys, keep a lookout for the atomweight Muay Thai division going forward. This is a division that's going to be probably one to watch for time to come now. Especially because now we're going to finally have a champion in it. Oh, I can't wait. But Fergus Smith definitely, for me, stole the headlines of the day, of the fight card. Everyone else on the fight card had very good wins, some good finishes as well. But I think Fergus, based on not only on the headlines, the social media presence, but like the fans in Lumpini Stadium, they were the loudest for this fight in particular. Louder than Teng Nguyen, who is widely loved by Thailand. I think Fergus definitely stole the headlines. And I'm looking forward to his next fight. I really am looking forward to his next fight. I don't think he's going to get Jonas Anand next. I don't think he's going to get Sandro Bossi either. I think what one's going to do here is that they're going to grow these young fighters up very progressively. so that when the time is right, we're gonna see them fight for titles. Because now it's just an introduction, right? All of them, all these guys, Anand fought twice, Sandra Bossi fought once, Fergus fought once. I think we're gonna have to be as fans be patient with their growth. They're all under 20 years old. We have to be very patient with the growth of these young fighters. But if they keep fighting like this, they're gonna be loved so much by the fans, and there's gonna be a demand for them. There's gonna be a high demand to watch them fight because they put on fantastic fights. So well done to Fergus Smith for getting not only getting a very good introduction to the One Championship, but for also earning himself a very good bonus. So well done, well done. Big ups to him. Staying on the debuts, let's keep it moving to the next fight. Where we saw Wada. He took on Hamzat Rashid in the bantamweight division. He's now 3 fights in One Championship, 3 losses to Wada. All of it coming via finishes. Bruce Usmanov KO'd him. Malatesta also KO'd him. And now Hamzat Rashid also KO'd him. And I like Wada. I really do. He's tall, right? He's very tall. What I don't like about Wada is he doesn't have good boxing. He overly relies on the body kicks and the low kicks. Then he also relies on counter elbows. But if he can throw in some good boxing in there, like I'm fighting like this now because he's left-handed. But if he can throw in double jab, right, left straights, if you can go liver shot, left straight, then the high kick. If you can throw out good tips, if you can jab and then pop and weave, feint, and get the boxing going. Because what lost him this fight was the boxing. A smaller fighter was more aggressive and had better boxing and took his lights out with a good KO. That left hook, and then just barraged him. He went down. Now on stream, I called the referee out for not doing the 8 count, right? However, Wada was laying flat out like this, and he didn't really make a good case for himself. Even though he jumped up, as if he wasn't knocked down, he jumped up. But what do you expect is going to happen? The referee couldn't even start the count because you're laying flat. So it's like, I can understand why. So I'm a bit gutted. Look, Wada is still young. I think he's 20, 21 or 20 years old. So I think patience is gonna be the thing here. He and the fans are gonna have to be very patient for Wada here. I'm patient enough to watch him grow. I think he lost against 3. I'm gonna excuse Hamza because it's the first time I watched him fight. But I've watched Alessio Malatesta countless times, and I've watched Ubris Osmanov countless times. Losing to the two of them, I won't go, oh, okay, and Wada, he's not all that. He lost to high-level fighters. High-level fighters. Hamza, I think he's undefeated, if I'm not mistaken. Came into the fight, and dude, he looked good. He looked very good. I like the boxing, but that's how a lot of these Moroccan fighters fight. They're aggressive. They got a lot of speed. They got a lot of spinning attacks. And then sometimes we see when they go into the second or third rounds, they don't really look that good because they're so tired. Wada, I think what I saw in this fight, what he lacked was experience. He lacked knowledge, like weaponry of the game, because he was throwing good kicks, like good body kicks, but Rashid was able to easily get around it. He was able to really jump into the space very quickly and started cracking Wada with good boxing combinations, pushing him back. So he was able to get around Wada's best weapons pretty easily. And that's why I think if Wada also had good boxing, it would have been a different fight. If his footwork was a little bit, wasn't so front foot in terms of like going forward and going backwards only, Wada could cut angles and put out some jabs and cut angles. I think the fight looks different. But yeah, the lack of experience showcased as to why he lost this fight, in my opinion. Off. Thank you for the comment, bro. It says, he just not good as his brother. For real, his brother was crazy back in the day. Whose brother? Wada's brother. You're referring to Wada's brother. If you are, who is he? What's his name? Let me check here. Oh, Wada. Oh, you're saying yes. Who's his brother? Joe Nambwe. Who is that? Who's his brother? Let's just see. Yo, I wish I knew this information. Madness. Thanks for that update. Thanks for that comment of that's something to look into. Uh Big statement. Big statement. So you don't rate Kampi Tiwada? You don't think so? You don't think that he's got the stuff? I mean, he's young. Kid's very young, you know. And like he's lost to, like, again, he's lost to guys that are high level. Osmanov just fought against Yuki Yoza, who everyone rates as like, I even rate Yuki Yoza quite high. He also lost to Malatesta, who was also arguably one of the toughest dudes to fight in bantamweight. And Rashid went in there and fought an aggressive fight. Now, is Rashid going to go on to do great things in one championship? I don't know, right? Because if I think about the one championships bantamweight Muay Thai division, ooh, that's a division where it's very hard to crack the top 5, top 10. It's very, very hard to crack it because everyone there can put your lights out. Everyone there can put your lights out. Off says yes, his big brother was in 1-2. Okay, okay. What's his brother's name? Must have been much long ago, because I mean I started watching one championship from like around 2018 onwards. Um, uh, I don't know if I remember any. What's his surname? Yeah, City Cool. Just type this in quick. City, uh, City Cool brother. Yo, off. You giving the stats here, bruh. Ritiwada. Okay, that name does sound a little bit familiar. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, this name does sound familiar. Even the face looks familiar. 29 years old. But he's still fairly young. Yes, yes, yes. I've seen this guy. Yeah, he fought Simmerpick. He won one, lost one. Fuck it. I had no idea they were brothers. They look, yeah, you can see they look the same. You can see that they look the same. Okay, yo, shot for that comment, bro. Shot for that comment. Ah, now, yo, just flashes of memory. Fuck it. How can I forget? See, he only fought twice in one, and that's probably why. But and he also fought against top tier fighters. I mean, at the time, Simmerpick is, was doing the things. Ah, fuck it. How did I not even recognize the look? Same face. They got exactly the same face. Off says yes, he was legendary, bro, in the stadium. What did Riti Wada fight RWS? I wonder, he probably fought RWS as well. But fuck it, how did I not remember the face? Oh my soul. Thank you so much for that, bro. Thank you so much for that reminder. Oh, that's a very good reminder there. But I still think that Kampiti Wada is young, and I think there is still a talented fighter in there, and I believe that he can still do the stuff. We just have to be patient with the man's growth. I know that's it. That being said, there's a lot of other like 19-year-olds that are just looking phenomenal at the moment, right? Like Kampiti Wada is in a division where guys are quite strong. The 130 pounds, the 135-pound Muay Thai division is filled with a lot of powerful dudes. Um, excuse me, the 140 pounds. Oh, sorry, 145. Bantamweight. Yeah, Nabil, Superlek, Haggerty, Yamran Nabati, Kulabdam, Rambolek, Kayakaev, Lobo, Yodaku, Param Garati, John Lineker. Like that's all killers. So I think Kampitiwara is gonna have to be patient here before he can really start cracking those high level guys. Not to mention the unranked guys. There's so many unranked fighters in that bantamweight division that are also high level. Anyway, we'll keep it moving, guys, to the next one. I'm starting to get quite hungry here, so let's keep it moving. Uh, Up next, Yusuf Khemati. He took on Kenan Bayramov. Bayramov from Turkey, Azerbaijan. 160 pounds, Muay Thai. Nice, nice big division. Got a comment here, looks quite funny. Adrian says, "Get that protein, king." I'm definitely gonna get the protein in after this, bro. Don't worry, don't worry. I'm gonna chow down like that. It is a lunchtime anyway. I gotta leave in about an hour, well, 50 minutes from now. Off says, bro, back in the day, he was from Best Elbow Fighters. I think you should watch his highlights in Lumpini Stadium. Are you talking about um Ritiwada, the older brother? You're talking about Ritiwada? So I'm definitely gonna go check out some of his fights now. Uh, or watch like some of his previous fights because he's still young, 29 years old. He's 29 years old, so I think you can still see more of him. I think one needs to make him fight more frequently, especially in that bantamweight division. Let him fight more frequently. Off says yes. Okay, cool. Shot for that, bro. I'm definitely putting this down just right there. I don't forget this. From PT Wada's older brother in Pini Stadium. So wait, does Lumpini Stadium put on Muay Thai fights outside of One Championships events? Do they have other events there as well outside of One Championships events? Because you're saying Lumpini Stadium highlights, right? So I'm sure you're referring to fights that weren't only in One Championship. Because on the One Championships website, it only records 2 fights for Ritiwada. So I'm probably gonna have to look at other promotions. But thank you so much for that update, bro. I'll definitely go and check that out. This fight between Yusuf Khemati and Kenan Bayramov wasn't really the most entertaining. I also remember at the time when this fight was taking place, the banter was popping off in our lives. So I wasn't really paying attention too much to the fights, more so than to the conversation that was popping off in our banter. But when I watched the fight back, in my notes here, I've got Yusuf winning rounds 1 and rounds 2. I thought he had the pressure going. He had better boxing. He was better footwork. Then second round, I think Keenan came back with the aggression. I think he had the cleaner shots landed in that second round. And then in the third round, I think Yusuf did a very good job at asserting his dominance again, maintaining the pressure, maintaining the front foot, and solidifying that third round, winning that fight. So well done. Wasn't the most entertaining fight, but well done to Yusuf. I think this is back-to-back losses for Keenan now. So I'm not too sure what he's going to do next year. Again, a division that where Reagan Ursula reigns supreme. Looking at these two guys, I don't see any one of them actually challenging for that title. Not anytime soon. So let's see what One Championship does for them in their matchups coming forward. But for now, I'm gonna keep moving. Okay. This fight I'm gonna actually spend some time on because I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments for this one because I'm sure some of you guys are gonna disagree with me. And I love it when people disagree because it makes for very good conversation when we have disagreements. Har Ling won this fight via unanimous decision against Haruyuki Tanetsu. And I actually scored the fight 2 rounds to 1 for Tanetsu. I don't remember seeing any knockdowns. So I don't know how they could give it to him. Sorry, I just got a phone call here. So Harling I recorded the first round. Harling winning that first round with sharp elbows, better, more accurate boxing, more damaging boxing as well. And then you also had Haruyuki on the back foot. Right now, when we got into the second round, When we got into the second round, like this is this. Oh yeah, the elbows also landed very well from Arling in that first round, cutting up Ryuki. But Ryuki doesn't defend really well. Like he's I've been wrote down here bad striking defense. He doesn't really defend by even involving and getting his head off the center line. His hands come low, his head goes up, he takes the shots while striking. I don't like that. I fucking hate that. Right? And he was doing that a lot and he was getting tagged a lot in that round. In the third round, Arling got backed up the whole of that third round. Right? Ryuki had the pressure. He had hard boxing. He was landing cleanly. He even had Arling he was stunned with some of those shots. The body work from Ryuki was fantastic. The front kicks was he just out volumed Harling in that second round and landed big shots on him. The third round was exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Harling was boxing back and landing on him, but so was Tanetsu. And if anything, Tanetsu actually landed more strikes, right? Also damaging strikes. Good body work, and he actually backed up Harling a little bit more in the third round. And that's why I gave him that round for 10-8 as well, 10-9. So I had 2 rounds for Hariyuki and I had 1 round for Harling And in the live, when I was live, this is what I was saying to everybody in the live. We need to have the conversation about the durability, not the durability, about the wear and tear of the Myanmar fighters, right? They are durable. They barely get cut up. They barely get bruised as well. But they are getting hit all the time. They're getting tagged every round. They're getting out volumed every fucking round, right? But they don't show the damage the same way. Now Tanetsu was bleeding and busted up everywhere, right? But he wasn't dropped once. He went toe to toe. He landed more strikes, and he actually stunned Harling more times. But because the damage was showing on his face, they marked him down for the fight, and he lost the fight. Just like Joshua Van versus Road Dogg Brandon Royval in the UFC. Exactly the same thing happened there. Brandon Royval, every single round in that fight against Joshua Van, he was outlanding, out of volume, damaging shots, right? But Joshua Van didn't show the wear and tear the same way that Royval did. And then yes, he got a knockdown at the end of the third round, like the last second. But he was still outstruck. He still lost every round, in my opinion. But now the judges, and also along with the UFC fans, don't know anything about the Myanmar fighters. They were like, "How is he still there? He's still standing. He's not even taking he's not even bleeding, and he won the fight." Just like in what we saw in this fight as well. I even wrote down here questionable decision because for some reason we're overlooking the work of the fighter that landed more. Even though Tanetsu was bleeding and he was cut open, right? He landed the same amount of damaging shots, if not more, right? But Harling didn't show that he was bleeding. He didn't wear the damage the same way. So it's like, okay, he won the fight. But he was outstruck. He was outstruck every fucking round. So it's like, we need to start talking about this because it's like, are we going to see this happen every single time? Are we going to see it happen every single time? You know what I mean? Where we're seeing fighters that are getting outstruck, out volume, they're getting beaten up, but they're not bleeding, and then they land half the strikes of the other guy. But because the other guy doesn't have the same kind of molecular makeup in terms of, he may bleed a little bit faster, sooner. Oh no, he lost the fight because look at his face. Look at his face, he's damaged. But he wasn't rocked, he wasn't dropped, there was no knockdowns. Kept walking forward. He kept landing more strikes. So I just feel like we need to have that conversation because it's for me it's fucking up the judging. It's motivating the judging in the incorrect way, in my opinion. I see we got a comment here. AD is saying Myanmar fighters are built different, bro. I know that they're built different, but that doesn't mean that they. If I'm from Myanmar and you, AD, you from Africa, and we fight each other, and you are beating me up, bro. Round 1, round 2, round 3, you are outlanding me, and I can only land every 4 strikes that you land with its punches, kicks, or knees or elbows. You are outlanding me, right? My one shot that I land may cut you open with an elbow. My right hand will land on you and it'll knock your head back, but you're still coming forward and you're still putting me on the back foot and you're still outlanding me and you're still landing shots to my body and you're still making me having to defend the whole fucking fight. But I crack you though. But I'm not bleeding. I'm not swollen either. And I still win the fight. Surely you're gonna go, come on, judges. Come on. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to highlight here. The Myanmar guys don't bleed the same way, right? They don't show the damage the same way, but they're getting fucking outstruck every fight. Every fight. All these guys are outstriking them. All these guys are out-teeping them. All these guys are fucking landing, stunning them. But they don't wear the damage, and then they're still staying in the pocket with you, and they win the fight. That's what we saw here. I'm pretty sure if Tanetsu wasn't bleeding the way he was bleeding, it might have manipulated the judges to judge a little bit differently. And I'll leave it at that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm gonna keep it moving. Okay, Alistair Valdez fighting out of Australia. This was an MMA fight. He took on, both guys made their debut. He took on Asadbek Ukinov from Uzbekistan. This was bantamweight MMA. I'm gonna say it now. Alistair Valdez looks phenomenal, guys. He looked phenomenal in this fight. I think the biggest takeaway for me, and I'm gonna highlight this, was the strategy for the ground. Even though he won he's a jiu-jitsu guy, but he won the fight by a head kick KO. I know there was a test TKO, right? But the referee should have stopped the fight before it even got to the point of TKO. In fact, the referee did. I don't know why he didn't wave it off. Because what happened was, the second round, early, the fight started. Valdez throws a high kick as his first shot, and it lands and it fucking knocks Ukinov down. Like he's KO'd. He's flat on the ground. Valdez runs up to finish the fight even further. The referee runs faster than Valdez to get in between the fighters, but then doesn't do anything. He gets there and just like he stands there and watches the fight. Valdez is like, "Are you stopping the fight or what, bro?" And then anyway, he continues to go on Ukinov and starts landing a little bit more shots, and the referee stops the fight there. I thought that was actually dumb from referee Sulaiman. But okay, he won the fight anyway. Valdez, I believe, trains with Craig Jones and Jack Jenkins from the UFC. And for me, what the biggest takeaway for me was the jiu-jitsu of Valdez when they were on the ground. When Ukinov went for a takedown, Valdez, what I liked about what he did was when he was on bottom, he didn't stay there. And he also didn't rush to get up. What he was doing was he was sitting in submissions the whole time, scooting hips left to right, grabbing elbows, grabbing arms left to right, butterfly guard back to full guard, left to right. He kept moving those hips so consistently that it never allowed Ukinov to settle and look for anything in that top control. And the reason why I'm highlighting this is because the only team so far that I've seen that beat the Dagestani wrestling, everyone seems to be like these are the invincible guys of MMA, are the Australians. Dates back to when Volkanovski fought Islam Makhachev the first time. I know he got head kick KO in the second fight, but the first fight, right? Volkanovski made it wrestling tough. He made it tough for Islam Makhachev. Islam couldn't do much for those wrestling, right? And he's like one of the scariest dudes when it comes to wrestling. The grappling exchanges. And Volkanovski nullified it. He forced a striking fight out of that fight. JDM, when he fought against Bilal Muhammad. Now, Bilal Muhammad isn't from Dagestan, right? But Bilal Muhammad trains with that camp quite consistently. He's got high-level wrestling. JDM nullified it. Countered it with what? Jiu-jitsu. High-level jiu-jitsu. The one thing I always noticed about the Dagestani wrestlers, or that region of wrestlers, is that they're very good at sambo. They're very good at combat sambo. They're very good at taking the back, or controlling opponents on the ground and doing that. But they never really threaten with a bunch of jiu-jitsu wrestling submissions. They just out-grapple you. They make you tired. then eventually they get in the tap. Now, Islam is one of those guys that can submit you quite easy. But generally, what they really do is they just out wrestle you the whole time. When the time to make is here. So far, I've only really seen the Australian type based jiu-jitsu wrestlers being able to jiu-jitsu grapplers being able to actually do something about the Dagestani wrestling. And that's what we saw here. Alders wasn't afraid from the takedown, wasn't afraid to be taken down, and he was prepared for it. He was like, "Take me down, bro. Take me down. I'm gonna tap you out." And he actually held with all the hip movements and all the butterfly guard movements. He was able to secure a Kimura lock and then reversed hooking off with that Kimura lock. And he could have tapped him out right there if he wanted to. He even got the back and went to him for a rear naked choke. I think Valdez is one of those guys that if one didn't capture him, UFC would have captured him. It's a good he looked in that opening fight. Then this could have been a can or a layup for him, but I'm impressed with what I saw. And I want to see more Valdez fights. I thought he was really, really good on the night. And I also thought that the style that he deployed for me is a style that a lot of fighters have to watch. A lot of fighters have to watch. If you want to know how to beat the Dagestani wrestling, watch Valdez, watch JDM. These guys are deploying tricks of the trade that the Dagestani guys are not privy to. But let's see. I'm calling that now. Let's see what happens in 2026 when it comes to a new year. Because I've seen these things on social media where people are saying Dagestani wrestlers or regional fighters are dominating MMA. Now they're going to dominate Muay Thai. So let's see if that becomes the case. I still big prefer at the moment. And then the opening fight where we saw Marwin Quirante fought against Ali Afrugh. Not much you can really say. Afrugh looks like he was 2 weights above. Oh, I didn't even change the fucking ticket tape. Whole episode, I didn't even change the ticket tape. No one lets me know in the comments. But anyway, Marwin Quirante looked like he was a couple of weights below. Ali looks big for the 128 pounds MMA. Oh, what are you saying in the comments here? He's saying Abu Fassel. Yeah, I called him Abu Fassel. Yeah, I remember. Ali Afrugh looks big, aggressive, strong boxing, good takedown defense. Marwin was looking scared. He fought a scared fight. There was a moment, and I actually watched it back again. There was a moment in the first round where Marwin reversed the takedown from Ali, synced in an armbar. Ali was wincing, and he actually tapped out. He tapped on the ground. He tapped on the shin of Marwin, but it was so fast that he didn't even see it. And then basically he was able to get up and get his arm free. But I saw a tap. I watched the replay. I saw a tap. Referee didn't see it, didn't call it. Fight goes on. Ali starts getting aggressive, starts putting Marwin on the back foot, starts rocking him for the rest of the first round. Second round, more of the same. Ali walks him down, starts outboxing him, lands a knee against the nut, against the cup. Marwin was basically down with a nut shot, took the whole of that second round to recover. And then in the third round, Ali was able to just beat him up pretty badly, TKOing him. But Marwin at that point didn't really have anything going forward. And Ali looked like he was a big dude for the division though. AD saying seen it. Yeah, there was a tap. There was a tap in the first round that the referee missed. And Marwin should have won the fight via first round submission, but he didn't get it. So that's what you get there. But okay, that's my time for it, guys. I don't want to spend too much time on the scandal because Marwin's not a ranked fighter. Ali, this was his debut. So we'll have to see more of these guys to spend more time on their fights. But okay, that's my time, guys. Thank you for tuning in. 2-hour live breakdown. I can give you my thoughts on the 2 fight cards for the weekend. Big entertaining fight cards. I give both fight cards a 7. What's AD saying here? So many refereeing and judging scandals these days. Yo, bro, throughout both UFC and one, just terrible refereeing, terrible officiating, terrible judging. I don't know what to make of it, honestly. It's like watching football. You know, the referees are just they just shit all the time. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time just shaming all the officials. Even though there's a big contribution to how fights are being played out. But okay, if you made it this far, guys, thank you so much for everyone that stayed into the chats. Off, much love, bro. Eddie, much love. Please drop a like, share, and subscribe on the channel. Uh, keep doing the banter. But this is what we want to love to see. Um, what you guys can expect this week. We do have a One Championship news segment that releases on every Tuesday, so keep a lookout for that. Wednesday, we will be releasing our preview for the UFC 321, which will be taking place this Saturday. That is Tom Aspinall taking on Cyril Gahn, and then Werner Jandaroba taking on um what is her name again? Mackenzie Dern. So we look out for that. And then Thursday we'll be doing the preview for One Friday Fights 1:30. And we'll be live on Friday for One Friday Fights 1:30. We'll also be live on Saturday for UFC because it's a very good time for us. So keep a lookout for all of that. But from myself and all the Fighting with Friends team, please have yourself a fantastic week ahead, and you will catch us on the next one. Cheers, everybody.